Hello, internet passers-by, and welcome to a short nap.
Quick nap.
The UK has been through something in the past, not even week yet.
No, it's not even been a week. No.
So we're recording this on a Tuesday. I don't normally give the kind of peek back and when we're recording these. And you're probably listening to this on the Wednesday, so like just barely a week ago, the Queen passed away. That's kind of the elephant.
The dead
in the
body
room.
in the room.
The dead body in the room.
There,
the slowly
I saved it.
rotting.
Yeah.
We're trying to be respectful here,
And we're failing.
and we're failing.
I mean, big respect to her.
Yeah,
She
like-
managed to, go older than I think we all.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Expected her
70
to.
plus years at like the
On the
same
throne,
job.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It's a weird one. Like, we kind of have to talk about it just to acknowledge it.
If we
For
didn't, it
ourselves
would
as
be
well, yeah.
hanging over our heads.
Yeah,
and-
that's it. It would be weird for, like, I know we delayed the episode, but, like, it would be weird to do that and then just have an episode come out where we didn't address it. Yeah. And so this is just going to be a short one where I think we kind of, I don't know, talk about just...
The Queen, I guess. Or I guess, I don't know.
just how weird it's been this past kind of like
Yeah.
because as much as I think none of us really care too much,
We're
and
not like huge fans. Like, oh, the royal family, they did this, they did this, they did this. I don't
royalists.
know what you call
We're not
it.
royalists.
No.
No, absolutely not.
It is like a big change, but also the country has definitely over fucking reacted to it.
Oh yeah,
For
like
sure.
we're
Yeah.
making a huge deal out of this when it really shouldn't be.
Like,
Yeah.
we understand it's important,
Hmm.
but to the point where we need updates every 20 minutes.
And it's not just like updates every 20 minutes, which are fucking annoying. Literally every time I look at my phone, it's like King Charles and Mother, and I'm like, I don't care.
Like, I know what's happened. we
Yeah,
know.
it's like
We're
unless
aware, yeah.
he dies or she comes back to life, I don't.
Plot twist of the century.
Don't-
Yeah,
honestly.
quite the fucking prank.
I think my favorite part was like there was a picture last night of like, oh, they're setting up snipers on top of Scottish Parliament for the Queen coming down Royal Mile, and I'm like, why? Is it in case she gets back up?
In case like the hand just sort of bashes out, like
Yeah.
that fucking Simpsons joke with Lennon.
It's like, and they're like, oh, it's anti-material rifles, and I'm like, look, I know anti-material rifles are supposed to only be used against vehicles and equipment. They're almost always, used against
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
100%.
Anyway, sorry, I seen that
Just your-
picture
yeah, I know, I
of just
get
a
it.
sniper on top of Scottish Parliament, and I'm like,
It looks weird.
what fucking country do I live in?
Yeah.
But like everything's just kind of come to not a standstill, but like
I
in
think
a
everyone's
weird
taken,
limbo.
like, a moment to be like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, just to acknowledge, when
Yeah.
certain events happen, you just kind of have to stop and think for a bit.
Oh,
and just let it
100%.
fully sink in.
And a moment is fine,
Yes, for sure.
but we're nearly a week on, and like there's still stuff like stopping or being moved around, or and like I know we're in an official mourning period, but that doesn't affect the general public for the most
no,
part.
I think,
Yeah.
like, us living close to Edinburgh, we have all noticed, like, how it has affected our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Like, our buses and shit, they're all, like, redirected. We're struggling to get to the places we have to be at.
I left college yesterday and got to a tram stop and had no idea if a tram was coming because it was like due to the.
Due to the events,
And
we're
it was, like,
suspending service.
It wasn't just that. It was like they're only running to this place, like from airport to
West End. Yeah.
and I'm like, and this is showing on the side going to the airport, and I'm like, are they going the other way?
Yeah.
I'm like, can I get
Yeah.
home, please? And then luckily one just came over the kind of little mound thing, and I'm like, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't surprise me for them to just run them one way and not back for some fucking reason.
Yeah. At
They
this
always
point.
run them back. West End is one of the points where they can switch lanes.
Yeah.
So it's because I take the tram a lot, and on Sunday I was in the centre, just went for a walk. I talked to Sean about this, and I ended up like on Prince Street. I was like, I'll just take the tram home. That's nice. Prince Street, like there were no cars, no buses. I'm like, what's happening? Like I'm usually very aware of like what's happening. Like I knew she was coming to Edinburgh that day, but I assumed she would come from the other side
Yeah.
for some reason.
It was weird though, because like I was reading like the thing that Sky put out of like the journey's itinerary, and I'm like, okay, and it was like would come in from whatever end and skirt round Edinburgh Castle, and I'm like, oh, so they're going up that way and then coming onto the Royal Mile, and then apparently that wasn't the case. I don't know
so
the route they took.
They came from like, you know where you have Johnny Walker and Greg's across from each other? They came from that road, and I was just on Princess Street, and I was needed to get to West End, but it was fully blocked off, and I just stood there with the masses. I'm like, I didn't mean to be here, and I want to go home. And there were people with suitcases that have to, catch a flight. Because, Edinburgh is very reliant on their trams for people to get to the airport. And they didn't really give much notice that they were going to do this. Because, I have, like, the bus app and the tram app. And they tell you, we're suspending service due to this and this. They didn't.
I think I only got a notification from the bus app saying, like, services would be disrupted between 3 and 4, like, 15 minutes before 3. And I'm like...
It's a bit late.
Guys,
we knew this. You could have told us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were the thing is they barricaded it, understandably so. Yeah. There were no paths to cross at all.
That just seems dumb.
And I'm just standing there like, I have to get to the other side to get the tram. And I just couldn't. I had to walk, like, I just walked along. Surely at some point there'll be a crossing path somewhere. No. I had to walk down to Grassmarket to get kind of underneath it.
Fucking hell.
So then, because most services were suspended because most go through Princess Street. You can't do that. So then I think total hour and a half took me to get home instead of getting on the tram being home at 15.
Just for anyone who's like maybe not been to Edinburgh before, like I know Princess Street is like the main famous part of it, but like I cannot hammer home just how much of the nexus point of Edinburgh's transport system it really is.
Like, it is the hub of everything.
Yeah, like if you're getting a bus, most of it's going through.
Go through there.
Yeah, like they might not stop, but they're gonna pass by it. And if that is blocked off, then that causes just so many issues. What were you guys, when it happened?
Like the breaking news kind of.
Not just like started. when it started, because this went on, and like if you're not in the UK, I really need to let you guys in on this. This went on for almost 6 hours.
Yeah, this was the entire afternoon.
It was like 6 hours of them being like, she's very ill, and everyone was like, you've never told us in breaking news she's very ill. So I think most people were like, oh, she's really not okay. And then they were like, all the children are rushing there. I think then we all knew, well,
yeah,
because like
they
probably not gonna
they said around 1, oh, we're concerned for her health, and the BBC just cleared the schedule. And like from 1 till 6, when the news at 6 came on, which we have the news at 6, and then we have the news at 10. Very creative. We are here in the UK. And that was when it was like, oh shit, okay, this is bigger than
this is it.
Yeah, because you had just got home around the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you were up to that day.
I'd just been home.
You'd just been home. But you don't have like a TV, so like...
I don't have a TV. I like never used my laptop to watch TV, but like the BBC website just had a live broadcast. I just kind of had it on in the background. I was like, I just want to know, what's happening. Be semi-informed.
That is so weird how that like almost everyone just kind of has that thing where it's like, I'm gonna have it on.
Yeah, like I'm not like sitting in front of it watching the same footage, which I did for 5 minutes. And I'm like, they're just showing the front of Balmoral.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce Balmoral?
Balmoral.
Balmoral. Okay.
Yeah, Balmoral.
People, many different ways.
Balmoral. I really can't. Balmoral. Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
now
that's
that I'm
the
thinking
American
about
way.
it, it's hard for me to like pinpoint how I say it.
Yeah.
I think
I'm trying
like
to think
Balmoral.
like how else could you pronounce it other than Balmoral?
Balmoral.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd watch it. I'm like, family members are texting me. They think that I have the inside scoop. I'm like,
you're in the city. You know exactly what's going on.
You live in Scotland. No. She's in Scotland. I'm like, so?
She's like a 4-hour drive away.
Yeah, and most people are like, well, she's sick. She'll be okay. Because that's usually how it goes in like our country. They tell us they're sick. We're treating them. we'll see how it
that's
goes.
what we normally get told, but then like they were like, we're concerned, and that's when everyone went, oh shit,
Yeah,
because it's a
said-
very British thing to like just downplay everything.
They said we're concerned, which was the big red flag, as you're
Yeah.
saying. But they also continuously said that she's very comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the other thing.
Is like very
Dead?
much medical speak for dead or dying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is
She is, getting her final doses of maybe some
Yeah.
pain relief. We're keeping
It
her
was
Whatever
comfortable.
royal drug
Yeah.
they were filling her up with.
at some
Yeah.
point the BBC started just giving it away because they're like,
They started changing into like black suits. We were like,
it's not just that,
"Excuse
it's
me?"
like
The language
would,
they were using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they would keep, saying, oh, she's comfortable. And like, no further medical treatment. It's like, guys, you're not meant to be like fully giving it away
When
yet.
they're
Yeah.
like fully talking about like, oh, she's had a nice legacy and like
Yeah.
talk about
full
she's
life.
done so many good things. I'm like, yeah, she can do more, right?
Like,
No.
it's as like you almost want to say to them, guys, we don't officially know
Yeah.
she's dead yet.
It's like, we
Yeah.
know that you know, and you know that we know that you know,
Yeah.
but you're not meant to act like
You know.
you know that we know that you know.
Yeah.
you know.
You know?
You know. Yeah. It's just weird. Like.
It was.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was quite the day because like
for
we've
sure.
been in college.
We'd
that
been
day,
in college, yeah.
obviously, and because of that first half of that day,
Mm.
because we got out at like what
I think
11?
12. I
12,
think, yeah.
the first half of that day felt very different
Yeah,
from the second half.
100%.
Because like it was sort of all normal, and then I get home and my mum, who currently works in the Scottish government, so it's like she was very busy that day. Couldn't tell me why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
She just sort of comes in and like, have you seen the news? Like all suddenly,
Oh, God.
and I'm just like, no, and like the Queen. She's dying.
The Queen!
Well, I mean, when she said the Queen, I sort of immediately went, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, what can happen to the queen at that point? That's breaking news.
Yeah,
that isn't,
that's it,
Like,
yeah.
Process of elimination. What could it possibly be to get this reaction?
If she
Like
had
when I
come in
get
and went,
home.
Andrew, you'd be like, what has he done now?
For fuck's sake. But yeah, immediately the news was already on, and I just see
course,
like
yeah.
breaking news, special announcement or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'm like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
She's deader than dead.
I think by the tone you could just tell.
At the point that it sort of like hit the news, I was actually like in Edinburgh still shopping, and like I was in Primark. And if you've ever been in the Primark in Edinburgh, you do not get service in there whatsoever,
No.
especially in the men's section, which I think is on
The basement.
The basement,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm wandering around, I'm getting clothes, I'm,
In the
Chill.
dungeon.
extremely pissed off that they have like maybe 3 t-shirts and just everything else is jeans or Greg's merchandise. There's a
You
full
didn't
wall.
know?
There is a
Oh, I
full
thought-
Do you
wall.
really think I would know?
I feel like, you see it in past. I see so many people wearing Greg's merch.
Yeah.
Look, they came out because this is their second, I don't want to call it fashion season.
Oh, it's
This-
like
this
their
set- their
second
second
round.
round.
Greg's fashion season.
Like, they had one before that. And of course, sold out immediately. Same with this one. But this season, they came out with Greg's Crocs. Like, not
I did
official
see those.
Crocs, but, Croc-like shoes.
Yeah.
And those were the only things where I was like, kind of want them. Kind of want them.
For fuck's sake. I'm
What
like,
is wrong with you all?
'Cause,
You
like,
eating-
the Groks.
You people that eat things.
the last time that they had Greg stuff, it was like a small,
Small
kinda
section.
small
Yeah,
section.
Small wall, yeah.
There's like a
The full one.
a full wall in Primark in Edinburgh of
Yeah.
just Greg's apparel.
Also,
What?
they have like a full-on basketball outfit.
Yeah,
like
the
Greg's.
shorts, the
tank top and
jacket, the
stuff.
tank top.
Yeah.
I feel like I've fallen into some dark reality.
Like
hearing
someone could
this.
dress and go, yeah, I played basketball for the Greg's team, and you'd be like, sure.
Sure. I
Like-
wouldn't be shocked actually.
No, yeah, I
Like,
wouldn't be.
this is hilarious, but to me, this is horrifying.
like-
yeah.
It is slightly weird though because like
I want to
as a
say, by the way, it's
country,
not that
I-
I don't like. It's not that I don't personally like Greg's or anything. It's just I don't eat
Yeah.
Yeah.
much bakery stuff.
it is odd though because it's like hyper capitalism,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, like
100%.
this is dystopian levels to me.
Like who likes Greg's that much?
So many people.
Really?
It's crazy.
Like I like
see
them,
so
but
many people wearing like the Greg shirts, especially.
Why?
Where I'm like I'm all for supporting what you love.
Like, I'm wearing a Mandalorian t-shirt right now.
Yeah.
I'm a graphic tee person. Like, I pretty much only exclusively wear t-shirts with designs on them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I can imagine you wearing a Greg's t-shirt.
I would not wear a Greg's t-shirt.
Yeah.
Look, if they had the thing is they don't even make fun designs. It's just the logo.
It is literally just the logo.
I can see it perfectly in my mind. It's
If-
just a
yeah.
white t-shirt. With
Imagine,
the logo.
like,
if they did
Supreme.
a comic style, like sausage roll fighting comic
Yeah,
book
I'd
stuff,
buy that.
I'd fucking buy,
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Like, if they
Like I
took,
can
like,
picture
the...
this perfectly in my head. The basketball like outfit is like just big blue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the
correct.
it's
logo,
literally
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the jacket is just entirely blue with like white highlights and the Greg's like
Logo.
yellow Windows looking
Like,
logo.
just imagine you have a team that's not affiliated with Greg's. We're like, let's all just like show up to our game. Fully
You
donned
know
in Greg's.
that they would like
Oh, 100%.
sponsor that. They'd pay for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was in there. And,
I love
like,
that we're turning this episode about the Queen into Greg's.
Yeah.
You know, culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She liked Greg's probably.
She probably.
She probably had, yeah. So I was in there and, I'm doing shopping, annoyed that they only have the Greg's line and, like, maybe a couple of, those breathable t-shirts? Like, it's like sports.
Oh,
like,
yeah, with the tiny
football.
holes.
Yeah. And with anime designs, and I'm like, I am not fucking wearing those.
No.
And, like, yeah, like, I got, like, a couple of Stranger Things t-shirts, but that was, like, the only kind of proper t-shirt that they had. Everything else was, like, jeans and shoes and stuff. And so, it's like 1:30 by the time I leave, and that's when my watch buzzes, and it's like, they're concerned for her health. And I read it, and, like, I'm in, like, a mindset of, I am in Princess Street. I have walked from one end to the other. I just want to go home. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, sure.
I would be panicking. I would panic that I have to go home now because they're going to suspend services or some shit.
Well, I was already heading home at that point. I was, like, walking towards the other end, like, from Primark to West End, and I'm like, how far away is the Waterstones? And I pull my phone up, and I, like, type it in, and it's, like, 2 blocks away. Because it's, like, kind of, if you've never been in Princess Street, it's, like, everything's kind of divided into blocks where, like, roads go up it.
Yeah.
And those blocks are always deceptively fucking long.
Yes.
And one end to the other it's a trek.
It is a
I
track,
think it's
yeah.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
A
You
good
get a
20
good
minute
walk out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not going for another 2 down and then having to walk all the way back to the station. And so I just went into the station, grabbed some of my grape drinks from the anime store, and got on the train home. And I got to my grandparents because I was visiting them, and that was when I was like, oh, this is actually on the news. This is like 2 hours later at this point by the time I get to my grandparents.
I do want to state, by the way, after I got home, I did sort of message you, like, the link to, like, on, like, the BBC website talking about
right,
this, and
yeah.
I did say, oh, by the way, the Queen's dying.
Yeah.
And then it's not until, like, maybe 20 minutes after that, I was like, I don't think I put in the severity of what I really meant by that. She
Yeah.
actually is dying.
Yeah. It's not like, haha, just probably dying. No, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, she is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but like because I was like in go home mode, I wasn't really like paying attention to much.
In
I wasn't.
ET mode.
Yeah, I went into they call it autistic mode in Ghost in the Shell, and I don't think that's
Don't.
no. Like I was just shut off from the outside world.
Yeah.
And like got to my grandparents and sat down, and I'm like looking at their TV, and I'm like, oh, this is severe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was just a shot of Balmoral, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then they cut to the airport, and then they cut to back to Balmoral. Then they done that little 2x2 side view thing where they have Balmoral and the airport, and like not a presenter. There was just narration, and I'm like, oh, this is something's
This is national news.
That was when I kind of like started piecing together like she's already dead.
Yeah. Especially the children were the biggest giveaway, I think.
Yeah, like, because when I got in, it was like, they were like, oh, we don't know entirely who's coming yet. We know there's going to be 7 people on the plane. And they're like, we believe it could be the Duke of York. And I'm like, oh, she's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, Harry. And I'm like, she's fucking dead.
Along with all that, I could sort of piece together the fact that because my mum's working from home, I could sort of figure out that there's definitely something important going on in the
Yeah.
background, and like, she's dead, isn't she?
Yeah. I was like piecing
She
together.
didn't tell me anything because obviously she couldn't, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. You can.
it was very obvious.
Yeah, I'm like watching it and like, starting to put all these pieces together, and then like someone was like, oh yeah, there was a note passed around Parliament and people like went out and got on black ties, and I'm like, oh, she's fucking dead.
I wish I had seen that because I
I didn't see it. I think someone sent me a clip of it later.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually even seen the clip. All I've heard is like people saying, "Oh, they got a note," and then they just sort of rush out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had gotten back home earlier somehow just to watch that live.
Yeah.
Like, it was worldwide as well. Like, as soon as it was breaking news, I think everyone kind of got the memo, like, we should be on this.
Yeah, because there was like Biden was, sent out a message, and you're like, okay.
Oh boy.
And like that's his, we hope for the best and all this sort of thing, and you're like, under normal circumstances, you just wouldn't do that.
No.
Especially with like the time difference, because it would have been early AM in America at the time.
Yeah, because on the East Coast, they're like at least 5 hours behind
Yeah.
us. So
6, I think.
6. So if that was like at about 2,
Yeah.
that would be like 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe.
so he's like probably barely started his work day.
Yeah.
And yeah, like
And
I
it's
was
like the East Coast as well. Like the West
Yeah.
Coast will be like 12.
Yeah, it would have been like middle of the night for them. And like I was at my grandparents for a solid kind of couple of 2 hours. Like I left around 5, I think. And it was just the same stuff. And I'm like,
They kept repeating kind of the same things over
yeah,
and over.
watching them try and commentate a plane landing was phenomenal because they switched into golf mode. And like, and we see the plane coming into land.
It appears on the plane.
Like
I forget the joke name I like put in as I was talking about this, but like here comes Lord Schmidlbattle of Cornbumblia or whatever.
It wasn't
taking
even
his
just
first step, and
like
then another, and
that.
then another.
It was like the plane came down. And they're like, yep. So hopefully we'll get to see who comes off, but it all depends on where the plane stops. And it just went behind like the main part of Aberdeen Airport's building. I'm like, yeah. So it looks like it's come to a stop, and then it just like reappears at the other side, and they're like, yep. So there it is, coming to a halt now, with some cars prepared, and we'll be seeing who comes out in a moment. And I'm like, fuck, Jesus.
The amount of times I mentioned it was also the first day of school for many of the children.
Oh yeah, that was right.
So,
Yeah.
Like I don't remember. Some people weren't coming because, understandably, take care of the children and everything.
Yeah, it was someone's wife.
Yeah, I don't know which one. I don't know who is the Duke of what. So watching it, they're like, the Duke of this is arriving.
This was another thing that kind of threw me off about the coverage at the time. They weren't using names; they were using titles.
Titles, yeah. And
I was just googling like, who's the Duke of this?
Yeah, like
to be fair, you're not alone because even I like sort of struggled on who's the Duke of what or whatever. Like Duke of Cornwall or like Prince of Wales. That's obvious.
Yeah,
but. And Duke of York because he's been in the news for like 2 years because he's a nonce. But
yes.
Past that, like, I don't know who the Duke of like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know either because there was one that I was like, who the fuck is this to you? And we both looked into it, and it turned out it was Margaret's son. I think.
Is it Margaret or Anne? No, Anne's
the
her daughter.
daughter.
Anne's the daughter, so it would have been Margaret because it was he was the son of the photographer that she was with.
Ah, that makes sense.
And we were like, okay.
Who Wikipedia listed as an English furniture maker.
Yeah, that was like his first thing. Like on Wikipedia was
What?
English furniture maker, and then
He's also
grandson of the Queen. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no,
I feel like that
nephew
should
of the
be-
Queen.
Nephew of the Queen,
I feel
yeah.
like that should be a bit higher up.
Yeah, it's like they have royal status, so everything else comes after that. Yeah.
I mean, for Netherlands, we also have a monarchy. Like, we don't have as many royalists, kind of. Like, we don't care as much. But,
our
you have
country is a
the
mess.
extended royal universe, Where it's like,
The
I am the
the
nephew of
RCU.
the person who is there, who is related to the king.
God.
It is, like, as messy. Like, well, this person is here, and we're photographing them. Like, who? It's like, well, she's the mother of the stepbrother of the, like, at some point you get cut off.
Yeah.
The step royals.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Look, we're not going in that direction.
No.
I mean, royalty. They don't.
We're
care
not
about a
going
little
in
bit of
that
inbreeding.
direction.
It's definitely weird seeing different monarchies because like we don't wait for our monarch to die to anoint the next one. We wait for the person who's monarch just to say, "Hey, I'm done."
Yeah, most monarchies do that. Like there
In
was
the
a
modern
whole
age anyway.
Yeah, because there was
makes
a whole
more
thing
sense.
in Japan. Like, was it 2 years ago, where
It might be more than that.
Oh, the daughter.
the
Sheila?
current emperor,
Oh,
like,
no, yeah.
you know, they changed the constitution so that he could abdicate to give it to his son, because he was like, I'm just getting too old. And, like,
Yeah.
their monarchy's even less impactful than ours, you know? Like, we have a constitutional monarchy, and I don't think that Japan does. I don't know what function theirs serves, but, you know, the whole different, you know, political system and hierarchical system and all that. But, like, for us, it's like, she goes when she dies. It's like, okay.
And the moment she dies, like, the air immediately becomes...
Yeah.
Because that was, like, I was like, can we take a minute? And it's like, Her Majesty the Queen has passed away. Let's welcome the king!
Yeah, and it was
Oh.
like, and Prince Charles shall now become King Charles. And we don't know his official title yet, so we're just going to call him King Charles III. And it's like, everyone's like, he's going to go with that.
Yeah, he's gonna go
Yeah.
for King Charles.
I saw this, like, joke, like, either the same day or the day after, that was like, the only thing scientifically faster than the speed of light is the ascension of the British monarch.
Yeah, because it like we have a coronation, but it's like a year after to allow for officially sufficient time of mourning.
This is such
Total bullshit.
old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is
I
old-fashioned because the
appreciate
last time
tradition,
this
of
all
course.
happened
Yeah.
was in the 50s, you know? And, you know, the BBC kind of did nail it on the head when they're like, we're in unprecedented, uncharted waters. And I'm like, you are, because her coronation was the first ever to be broadcast. Now her death is the first ever to be broadcast on TV, and it's 70 years later when
Exactly.
the, you know, the speed of information and how it travels is just so much different than it was even, you know, back when TV was just becoming a thing. And so, like, we got to watch it all in real time, but they had to still follow all of the protocols.
Yeah.
And, like, I get not wanting to, you know, just be told, oh, you know, your grandmother, your mother, or whatever has passed. Charles was at Balmoral already, right?
I think so.
Because
He
they
was
never
one of the
mentioned him on the
first
news.
Yeah.
To arrive, I think. I think
Right.
maybe like in the last few days they were like, I think you should come.
Yeah.
Like just be here.
Because I did know them. I did notice that the coverage like never mentioned him whatsoever until obviously, you know, King.
Yeah, they didn't mention him until she was already gone. to
Yeah.
which they stated they will stay at Balmoral for tonight and then head to London the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
When he done like his whole proclamation and stuff like that. But what was I saying? I just totally lost my own train of thought there.
King.
Oh, like not wanting to be told, you know,
Yeah.
your grandmother passed away or whatever, and then like it hit the news and you haven't even been there yet, but like
I appreciate them wanting to tell the family first, but
surely
As-
the family
as horrible-
knew.
Yeah.
as
Like surely
horrible
they
as
had
it
been
is,
told.
Yeah, like they should be the first to know 100%. But you know, in this age, I think a phone call.
The thing is,
Could
they
have been
probably were told over a phone call,
Like-
but it's just because they can afford to chart a private fucking jet and
Yeah.
get from wherever the fuck they were to Aberdeen in, you know, a couple hours. Because, you know, this country's a joke. I still think, you know, it would have been fine for them to have travelled up, but they shouldn't have held off on the news for so long, because
No.
then it brought everything to a standstill. And
Yeah.
everyone knew, and it was like, okay, well, just, you know, tell us. And like,
Tell us. Yeah, we knew. We just want you to say it
yeah.
because we all know it.
And like, official protocols are fine and all that, but when it's like, you need to hold off until a certain time, until a certain amount of people know, and until all this and that, and it's like, you know, just saying that she's passed away does not affect us.
No.
So, you know, you can still go through all your official protocol bullshit and set up the funeral and set up her moving to Holyrood and all that sort of stuff, but you don't need to hold back the news.
Yeah.
And even them saying she's in critical condition, I think would have, you know, been better than we're concerned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Just say, like, you know, she's not doing well.
Uh-huh.
We're keeping her comfortable. She's in critical condition.
Yeah.
But we're, you know, we're trying to give her a peaceful passing.
Yeah.
Even that, then at least we know where we're at.
yeah.
You know, and we can appreciate, you know, the work more.
Yeah, definitely. It is a weird one though, because, you know, I mean, I say we, the royal we, we don't really care for the monarchy, and I mean that's obvious for one person who, you know, Melina, you're not
Yeah.
from the UK,
No.
so like it absolutely does not
Yeah.
affect you, and like it doesn't affect our lives for me and
No.
Sean, but like she was an omnipresent figure.
Yeah,
I think worldwide.
Oh,
honestly,
for sure. But I
yeah.
think when you live here,
Oh,
it's
it's
like
very
so
different.
much more
It's-
intense.
Yeah,
Definitely,
we just
yeah.
had the Jubilee, and you could tell, like, not everyone cares, but there's a group of people, and we all appreciated her.
Yeah.
So much, we're impressed that she's managed
Yeah.
to be there
Yeah,
so
yeah.
long.
And I think we kind of said this in like after it was announced, is like, sure, we don't care about the monarchy.
We have our own views
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
like how we view the monarchy and
Yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
but her as like a person.
Yeah, as like we can't be anything but impressed, and like there's only a couple of things that she's done throughout her reign that we've been like, ugh.
Yeah.
And it was a little sad, I can't lie.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's like, there's a lot of celebrities that we're very familiar with that are growing old and are
Mhm.
passing away. And even, if they haven't had a great impact on your life, it's
Yeah.
still someone you heard about, you saw, you acknowledge their
Yeah.
existence, and especially the Queen,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of feel a sense of sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not,
And I
you go.
No, you go.
Not to be sort of like overly dramatic or weirdly poetic, I guess,
Yeah.
but like she really is sort of the nation's granny.
That's literally what I
Yeah.
was about to say, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, I guess it's something that you can't really even... You can say that, but like I think anyone not from the UK can't even grasp the impact of that, because like, she is everywhere. She's
Yeah.
Mhm.
every year at Christmas.
In a
she's
weird
on
way,
TV.
you've known her your entire life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's always been a thing about her reign is to, be there, and while she's, refrained from opinion, she's always
Presence.
a presence.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's like every Christmas she's on TV, and there's always, she's always doing charity stuff. She was always visiting places. She was always, she was doing royal duties, and up until the moment
Yeah.
she
like-
couldn't.
She physically
like,
couldn't.
Wasn't
yeah.
it 2 days before she passed that she met Liz Truss?
The day,
The day.
The day before?
the day
Literally,
before.
the story that I keep hearing is that like she met with her. There's like a picture that has like a
Yeah.
rose
Her
through his hands, which is
they don't.
now everyone thinks is like a
Mhm.
sort of EV sort of thing.
Like a cannula or something like
Something
that.
like
yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
one of the IV type
yeah,
things.
Yeah.
Ivy. That's what I'm thinking. Not EV.
Intravenous.
That's Pokemon. But yeah, but the story I keep hearing is that like she met with her, had that, and then she just immediately collapsed.
Yeah.
Like right after.
Oh.
Because
And that's when they knew that she
Yeah,
was not going to survive the next couple of days.
Yeah, because I think another thing I had heard about that is that, how she looks in that is everyone was like, oh, she looked fine, other than, the bruise in her hand. It's like everyone was like, there was someone, I think it was like a royal, someone close to the royal family or whatever like that, was like, it was just a good makeup job, and they just missed
The hand.
the hand.
Mm.
'Cause,
And I
you know,
suppose it's
with
hard to apply
infections,
makeup and stuff like that for
you
that,
can't-
yeah.
But if she does have an IV, you don't want to dirty that area.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And so, she was already looking pretty grim at that
I
point.
mean, she was 96.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
hard to look your best at
Yeah.
96.
And so that was, she was already on her way out at that point, and power to her, she stuck it out until literally the very end, and I'm pretty sure it was just because she didn't want to see fucking Bojo in office anymore.
I'm sort of the belief now that like she stayed for the Jubilee,
Mm.
and then all the Bojo stuff happened, and
Yeah.
she was like, hold on, I want to
Give
see
me
this
a
shit.
little bit more
Heard my
time.
coffin.
Not yet, Philip.
And
then once she like shook hands with Liz Truss, she was just like, watch this, it's going to be hilarious. Kill me. The only thing that would have been better is if she was literally like, pointing to her
Yeah.
as she collapsed.
You.
This will haunt you for your entire leadership.
bitch.
It's a point and then it turns into the middle finger. And that's like a slight smile, and then she just dies right there.
Yes, I think we've said all we can.
Yeah.
Without going into too much.
This is a quick nap.
This is
Yeah.
this is a short nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for
Little
listening.
stews.
There'll be another episode in a couple of days, back to our normal shenanigans. And I know we've had a laugh here, but
We wish the best to the
Mhm.
family.
100%.
Grief is difficult.
except for Andrew. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
fuck
Yeah,
you.
Andrew.
We'll see what happens
Yeah.
in the next
Yeah.
couple of weeks, I guess.
And
Yeah.
power to Charles for all the stuff he's done in public
Mm.
right after his
Yeah.
mother has passed.
You can tell
it's
he's like
impressive.
distraught.
Yeah.
Because
You
I've
can
seen this
tell.
like a little proclamation
Mhm.
thingy out.
Mhm.
He's very much doing the royal sort of mask.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see him looking around and looking at William and you know, looking for anywhere where he doesn't need to look at, you know, people.
Yeah.
And-
it's,
and
it's
it's,
difficult. It's almost,
yeah.
I don't want to say it's cruel because it is, you know, tradition, but you know, the day after you're being asked to stand in
Yeah.
front of your people, I would have just been like, I'm not feeling very well. I'd like to sit this
Yeah.
one out. Like I need some time, and for him to power through this, and you know, he is paying his respect.
Yeah, I
think.
mean, for him to
The
make
way
a
he
speech.
speaks of her
Yeah.
very lovingly, it's beautiful.
And I mean, for him to make a speech on TV, you know, what was it, the day after, it was,
day
it was
after,
on Friday night, because I missed it 'cause I was at work. And he held it together, you know, massively well. You could see in his face that he was clearly, you know, very distraught and upset, but, you know, he managed to get through it, and it's like, I don't think I could have.
No.
So, you know.
We've always been making the joke that he's like, he was waiting for her to die to finally get like the seat, but you can tell he lost his mum,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
hurting him.
Yeah, 100%. And while it feels weird to say, you know, we have a king, and the national anthem, well, England's national anthem.
Yeah, because we don't sing it really
we don't
up
sing
here
it.
at
No,
all.
and I wouldn't if a gun was put to my head.
Yeah, same.
Think it's God Save the King,
Yeah.
as we, and that we have a new monarch, and we're literally in a different era of history as.
Yeah, and all the other like little things like it's no longer Her Majesty's government.
No,
it's
His Majesty's government.
or His Majesty's Armed Forces.
Yeah.
It'll be weird to think and say.
And our money will slowly change over the next kind of 5 or 10 years.
I'm not ready for that.
No, it's gonna be weird. Like I work in a supermarket, so I deal a lot with money, and like, you know, having to like holding, you know, 10s and 20s that have her face on it. I'm like, oh, this is weird. You know, she was literally yesterday the queen, and now she's gone.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be his fucking mug on the money from now on.
His smiling face.
Oh, Christ. But yeah, so I think we'll end it here.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
talking for a decent amount of time.
Just a good talk to have.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It needed to be addressed.
It needed to be addressed. I think it would be weird for the episodes, you know, that were recorded a month ago,
Yeah.
prior to everything happening, going on without, you know, us interjecting and going, look, a major world event has happened.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Like
Yeah.
something else, because we did it with Roe v.
We did it with Roe v.
Wade.
Wade.
Sadly, Melina was not here for
No,
that.
unfortunately. You're here for the one that had like so little impact on you, but
Yeah.
you were not here for the one where you could have really given your opinion
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to the Roe v. Wade one. I think you guys did a really good job. I would have mostly just elaborated more, but
Yeah.
the points you made were good.
There's
and
only
I'm
so
happy
much
to
we
be
can
here for
talk
this.
about it from a research perspective, as you
For
know,
reasons
to
that are
people who
obvious.
do not have those organs.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, thank you for listening to this. Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Not
Next
much
time
more
we'll
to
be a
say.
bit cheerier.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.